Hey, what's up, all you witches and wizards? And I am so excited because I finally made it to the best and most noteworthy episode of the Owl House to date. Episode 16, titled Enchanting Grom Fright. Let's begin, shall we? As we open up, Luz is studying. I love the fact that she has to study to a certain degree, and she's learning plant based magic. She's doing so great. I'm really just loving how great Luz has been doing in terms of actually learning magic. It's she's really blossoming, as she puts it. It's so fun to see her learn magic this way. There's something so interesting about it. But she's able to actually pick up on plant magic, and we actually see that they're able to get Wi-Fi from the human world just by opening the portal a smidge. So I love the consistency of the portal back to the human realm. It's just it's there, it's a thing, no biggie. So very fun. However, Luz ends up receiving a text from her mama, asking how camp is going, and she kind of questions what she could possibly say to her mom, or her mom potentially finding out that she's not actually at that camp she was sent to, and yeah, she freaks out just a smidge, just a little smidgy bit. However, when she gets to class, she finds out it's Grom night, and she then runs into Amity, and it's nice to see that after the events of last episode, Amity's a little bit of a better standing with Luz and her group of friends. But she also, she slips a little back into her former kind of pretentious ways, but, it's nice to see that she's at least trying. We also see that she has some kind of note that she very much does not want Luz to read for some reason. But when it's announced that Amity will be Grom Queen, only Luz is excited, thinking it's something like Prom Queen. However, when she goes to investigate what exactly Grom is, when she sees a row of weapons, one sword looking like Alistair from Devil May Cry, which I love the Devil May Cry series, and Cloud's Buster Sword. Dude, if you have not played the Final Fantasy VII Remake, amazing. Absolutely amazing. So fun. So fun. But, she wonders why weapons are involved in this and what's with the path leading down underneath the gym. And Amity notes that Grom is kind of short from Gronimbula, Gronambula, Grometheus, I think it was something along those lines. Grometheus the Terrible or the Frightful is this shadowy beast that brings your fears to life, and every year a student has to go down and basically beat it back for the most part. And in order to keep morale, I guess, for the students, Bump holds a party every year in order to just kind of lift everybody and, I guess, keep them out of that fearful state of mind for the most part. Although Luz says that if Amity has such a problem with fighting this creature, why not just ask Principal Bump if she can abstain from the event? So Amity tries that. She goes off to do that. Meanwhile, we find out that Ida, oddly enough, will be chaperoning Grom. So Ida's increased good relationship with Bump continues on because it's just really chaperoning, or at least maybe this is part of her community service towards Bump after everything she did when she attended Hexside. Who knows? But when Luz suggests that maybe she'll take Amity's place for Grom Night, Ida dismisses this, saying that ultimately Luz does not have the skill to do something like that. She's not ready for anything like that. And Luz really takes offense to that, saying that her magic has grown. And it has, just maybe not that much. And, well, King, on the other hand, actually kind of believes in Luz for the most part, mostly because there have been situations where Luz has really helped out Ida. But Ida feels that Rom would be just too much for Luz. So, in the forest where she runs into Amity, who's, I guess, just kind of sulking because Principal Bump ultimately said no to her, withdrawing from Grom, Luz decides that she will take up Amity's fight and she will do this for her friend. Meanwhile, the next day, however, we see that she continues to have issues telling her mom anything about what's going on with her. But Amity shows up in order to train Luz for Grom Night, complete with the Blight Twins, of all things, in order to cast illusions in representation of Luz's worst fears, which she has a list of, because she's all about this. She's going all in. And we get to see that her problems are, internet critics, freaking fedora wearing milady. Like, oh man, if you don't get that reference, good, keep it that way. And people trapped in cat bodies, and we find out she's lactose intolerant. Who knew? But Amity feels this is small potatoes, that she wants to know what Luz's worst fears are because that's what's ultimately going to come to the surface. And so she says that is ultimately the criticism from Ida that she's not good enough, with Ida taking note of how, good she looks. And I can't deny that one. Sorry, not trying to be creepy, but come on, she's really beautiful. Please, come on, can we agree on that? But Ida also notes that Luz ultimately just really just doesn't have it in her to take this on at the moment, and she really just tries to discourage this. But ultimately, time runs out. Luz feels that she's ready for this, and well, it's tonight, so she doesn't really have much of a choice. So Grom Night is there. We actually find out from a Twitter post, I think, that the Blight twins actually both got stood up by their dates. Maybe they were just too insufferable. Who knows? But we have Gus being the MC of the event, really actually being very good at it. I'm kind of surprised to see that Gus is so well liked by everybody. But at the same time, it's just like he has that kind of personality. But, we find out that King was also invited to, co host with him, but, you know, Ida lets him know that kids can be very unforgiving when it comes to that kind of stuff. But the time arrives, Amity really thanks Luz for everything that she's doing for her and is really impressed that she would face her fears like this. And Luz, they share this very cute little moment, and I am all for it. I am all for this moment between the two of them. But the time comes and Luz goes in, putting a glyph on a mace to be able to cast her ice magic, and that's actually pretty cool. I think she should do that more often, like weapon-based magic with her glyphs on it, because it works out pretty well. As Grom starts to form, she's able to beat it back with her magic. Unfortunately, King finds his own fear, and that's stage fright as he's booed off stage. But meanwhile, with Luz, as Grom starts to take the form of Ida and her disappointment and Luz not feeling that she's up to snuff, Grom goes deeper and finds that Luz's deepest fear at the moment is the fact that her mom might discover that she's not actually been at camp, but been fighting and in danger and doing all this weird stuff, and Grom starts to feed off of that fear as Luz just completely starts to break down for the most part. Meanwhile, Gus has a heart to heart with King and tells him that he should face his fears and do his best to just overcome his stage fright. As Luz comes running out of the gym, followed by Grom, with a lot of the kids starting to panic that Grom has escaped. But King decides to face his fears and starts to take on the role of main MC and actually starts to do a pretty good job leading everyone after Luz and Grom, with a worried Ida and Amity following close behind. And as Luz ends up cornered by Grom and, her nightmare mom and who's questioning why Luz would lie to her and deceive her and all that. Ida comes in to help fight off the beast, only for Amity to be the one to truly try to protect Luz and get in the way of her and Grom. However, Grom ends up accessing Amity's worst nightmare, which is a fear of rejection, namely with the note that she had previously, tearing it up. And Luz ends up finding out that she was planning on asking someone to Grom, and the rejection is what she feared the most. So Luz asks Amity to Grom with her. And as Grom starts to regroup, we have this amazing sequence. It's so beautifully animated. I love this moment, and I know the internet blew up at this moment. It was so well done. I have to think it was Spencer Wan who did the this moment here because it's just so good. It's so perfectly done. As Amity creates an abomination, Luz casts her plant-based magic on it and sends it. They send it flying into Grom, and it explodes into a blast that creates a massive tree, and it is so great. Such an explosive finish. So enchanting. And both Amity and Luz are crowned Grom Queens. And we actually get to find out that it was actually Luz who Amity was going to ask to Grom. Oof, I love it. It's so sweet. It's so cute. I totally teared up. I totally teared up. And King announces the Grom Queens, and everyone hails them as the heroes of Grom, beating it back and saving the day, with even Ida taking notice of the accomplishment, and Gus congratulating King on a job well done. Unfortunately, when Luz does get back to the Owl House, she's not quite too happy because of everything that's happened. Ultimately, finding that she didn't conquer her fear, she's still running from telling her mom the truth. And when her mom texts her once again, she starts to kind of not skirt around what she's doing, but she does open up about what she's been going through to her mom, for the most part. And we get to see nice little moments with Gus and Willow confronting their fears, and Amity still kind of lamenting certain things. I'm not sure why he's just so melancholy in this situation. Maybe she's just thinking about maybe Luz one day truly rejecting her, or maybe someone else rejecting her, maybe her parents. Ida gives gives King some pats for a job well done, and Luz just kind of tells her mom that she's been struggling, but she's starting to get better thanks to her friends. And while her mom starts to text her about letters and how she's been receiving them, Luz just feels that it's just text that she's talking about. But no, she's been receiving letters, very detailed letters about what she's been going through at camp. Something is not right here. Hmm, mysteries abound. But I also love the end where we get to see the memories of Grom with, Skara and her Grom date just being really over enthusiastic about Grom, Basha and her crew just being cute, I guess. Bartholomew being an annoying little shit, and just the whole gang of Luz and her friends just really living it up at Grom because they were the MVPs of Grom, if nothing else. But really wondering about those letters that Luz had. But I really do love that we're starting to explore the relationship between Luz and Amity a little bit more, and I can't wait to see where that goes from here on out. But tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about those letters? What's the deal with that? What could that be all about? And what do you think about the blossoming romance between Amity and Luz? Will Amity ever tell Luz her feelings? Will Luz reciprocate those feelings? Is that what Amity is worried about? Only time will tell. But Comments in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, bell, whatever you feel. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope you have an enchanting Grom Fright. Bye-bye.